That movie sucked.
I kind of liked it.
Movie Night Crew Network.
100,000 witches and wizards were taking their places in the seats, which rose in levels around the long oval field. Everything was suffused with a mysterious golden light which seemed to come from the stadium itself. The field looked smooth as velvet from their lofty position. At either end of the field stood 3 goal hoops, 50 feet high. Right opposite them, almost at Harry's eye level, was a gigantic blackboard. Gold writing kept dashing across it as though an invisible giant's hand were scrawling upon the blackboard and then wiping it off again. Watching it, Harry saw that it was flashing advertisements across the field. What's up, potheads? Welcome to the Restricted Section, a show in which a bunch of nerds with potty mouths reread the Harry Potter series for the umpteenth time and discuss the way that the story and its themes have stayed with the generation into adulthood. Thank you for listening. If you haven't done the reading, don't worry, we did it for you. Here's what we're talking about today. Chapter 8, The Quidditch World Cup. In this chapter, the gang goes to the Quidditch World Cup, okay, right? And Bulgaria catches the snitch, but Ireland wins. Flying, throwing, bashing, fainting. Not Harry's preferred kind of fainting, but he's intrigued. Catching, saving, diving, hypnotizing, flipping off, slowing down, jumping over the side of the box to impress a group of Vila, you know, real hot sport shit. Welcome to the Restricted Section, where we will not pretend to care about sports. We're just not going to do it, okay? I am tickled pink to be joined by my intrepid friend, Haley. Say hello to the listeners, Haley.
Hello, listeners. I'm Haley.
Is intrepid good?
I think intrepid would work better for Brooke, but I'll take it.
No, I was thinking oh no, you're right. We were just talking about book stuff. You've been to so many worlds in that way.
Yeah, that way and few other ways.
You've been places.
I've been places.
You went to Africa.
Yeah. With people. That's
just one of my favorite series of stories. One day we'll just record a bonus episode of Haley talking about her trip to Africa.
Oh, God.
I would love to listen to that.
It was a good time.
And I am so excited because today we have a returning guest, Nav, co-host of A Song in Ice and Fire Symposium. Say hello to the listeners, Nav.
Hello, everyone.
You may remember Nav guested on an episode of the Restricted Section for Prisoner of Azkaban, Chapter 8, The Flight of the Fat Lady.
This is also Chapter 8.
Oh my god!
I just realized that.
Okay, well...
Nav coming at you on the 8s!
On the 8th.
Did anyone else have radio growing up? No one else? Just me? Okay.
No, I thought you were just screaming things.
No, it was a thing in Fairfax.
Okay, well, Nav, I'm putting you on the schedule for Chapter 8 of Order of the Phoenix.
I am totally for that.
That's the hearing, so get ready for some...
Oh, that's an intense one. Okay.
Yeah, just get ready. Just all together, get ready. And I have also guested on their show, A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. I was on for Chapter 16 of... Wait. My notes say of Goblet of Fire.
Game of Thrones, Goblet of Fire, same thing.
When there's a script, I just can't go off script. It said Goblet of Fire, and I came to a dead stop. That released in April of 2021, and I also very recently was on a special episode about the Hedge Knight, which came out in summer of 2021.
It actually just came out like a month ago or something. Just
late summer 2021.
Yeah.
If you're from the future, scroll to the way back. Please remind the listeners what your show's about and who your co-host is and what you do over there.
Yeah, so my co-host is my best friend Harmut, who has never read A Song of Ice and Fire or seen the show. So she's completely clueless, and I just love watching her suffer, so I thought I would record it, you know? So we just talk about a few chapters at a time and make predictions and laugh at how wrong she is and how hopeful she is for the future. It's great. It's a good time.
Harmut does have a lot of hope.
Yeah.
And I try not to be like so cynical. I try not to be like, oh, you're going to run out of hope.
Yeah. We're going to squeeze it out of her eventually.
Oh,
it's okay.
Tina, don't I remember you telling me that the episode you were on was the dead dog chapter?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was the dead
was
dog
really
chapter. And, okay, here's the funny thing is, like, I'm traumatized. I mean, Game of Thrones spoilers. Brooke taught me that you're supposed to say spoilers before you say the spoilers. Everyone remembers that chapter because Lady Sansa's direwolf gets killed. But you know who else gets killed? An actual innocent child.
Yeah, Micah, the butcher's boy.
The butcher's boy. And it's like, no one remembers Micah.
Yeah, well, we don't have the same connection with Micah as we
It's
do
true.
with Lady.
He doesn't get any dialogue. Oh, I guess Lady doesn't.
Yeah.
Lady doesn't get any dialogue either. Oh, fuck, whatever. Yeah, A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium is so fun. It pretty much has the same tone as this one, maybe like slightly more family friendly if you consider Game of Thrones to be family friendly. I guess
Right.
I'm just talking about like
It's
the
just-
language use and the sex jokes, not quite as much over there.
Yeah, well, considering my co-host was a minor until recently.
Yes, exactly.
We had to, like, keep it in mind. And she was so scared that a kid would, like, listen to the episode. And I was like, but it says explicit. Like, you can swear. They've been warned. So now we're getting to be a bit more of ourselves.
Hell
There you
yeah.
go.
I can't emphasize this enough. If you are a child, you have absolutely no business listening to this podcast. Please see yourself out.
Except for the ones that we already know are listening to this podcast.
Yeah, unless you're one of our 3 original child friends, you're
Look,
not allowed to listen.
You know,
Goodbye.
man, we grew up in the early days of the internet when, like, there weren't any content warnings, there weren't any trigger warnings. You just got what you got when you clicked on something.
That's
And
true.
we turned out okay, didn't we?
Honestly, God's bless a trigger warning, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Most useful tool in the world.
I do appreciate those.
Yeah, just make your own choices. That's all we're saying. If it says explicit language, you've been warned. You can
Yeah.
make a
Haley?
choice from there.
You know what? You're right, Haley. If you're a kid, go ahead, listen. See if I care. Forge your own path.
Gay aunt advice.
We're about to forge our own path through the woods to the stadium.
Well done. Well done.
The Quidditch World Cup.
Great work.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the trick is you let the opening remarks ramble until you find the perfect segue and then you grasp it. These are just reminders to myself for next time. I'm going to listen to it when I'm editing and write it on a Post-it so I can remember to do that again in the future. So, the gang. I'm not going to name all of them. The Weasleys and Ron and Harry. Nope. See, it's already confusing. And Hermione and Harry.
Just start singing it in like the Brady Bunch tune.
You start singing it.
I would prefer not to.
Yeah, they're walking down a lantern-lit trail from the campsite to the stadium, and it is gigantic, and it seats 100,000 people. And as they're walking through the woods, they're, like, giggling and, like, screaming.
So this is a music festival. This is exactly
Yes.
what a music festival is like.
The last chapter where they're, like, getting to the campsite and setting up, and there's just, like, this feeling of, like, palpable energy in the air. And our friend Michael Boothby was our guest on that episode. So there was much, much talk about how the Quidditch World Cup is absolutely music festival energy.
Yeah, he was right.
Something about, like, the place, you're, like, in a woods,
Yeah.
and it's, like, it feels old, and,
With,
like, it's
like,
been
lights.
waiting for the energy to come back to it.
Yeah, and there's like lights glittering in the trees leading you to somewhere.
And
Yeah.
just, like, happy noises in every direction. And, like, not a care in the world. What a like, false sense of security for us before the next chapter.
Yeah.
Why? What happens in the next chapter?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
I've never read these books.
Arthur explains that this area, the stadium, but not the campsite, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's protected by Muggle repelling charms. So they've been, like, I guess, building it. And Muggles, if they, like, approach, they suddenly remember something they forgot and, like, run away.
I'm already anxious enough. I don't need wizards messing with my sense of urgency. This is
Or are you anxious because wizards have been messing with your sense of urgency?
oh my god.
Now you're anxious about wizards. Have I helped?
You've always told me that the worst part about anxiety is that occasionally you're right.
Oh, it's more than occasionally, but yes.
Oh, no, don't tell me these things.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I just feel like they could have built this somewhere where there were no muggles. Like, build a cute little biome in the middle of the Sahara. Or, like, go find some... Andrew suggested an island in the sea, like Azkaban. Quidditch Caban.
Well, okay, so, like... Well, I think you guys were discussing a couple episodes ago about, like, how they decide which country hosts the game.
Right,
yeah.
And, like, I think it's because of Ireland. I guess this is, like, a North Irish team is the implication. So, like, it's gotta be somewhere in the territory of the British Isles. But, like, if this was the 90s, there had to be some lingering imperial territory farther away from people. Because, like, the British Isles are not what one would consider a large landmass.
Yeah.
Well, then, like, even if you do it in the British Isles, like, I know there's a moor. Like, why does the campsite have to be facilitated by a muggle? Like...
For the entertainment.
He was already there.
Send the muggle on vacation.
Well, he's gonna get rich off of this, I'm assuming.
That's a great point, and I hope that's true, because him and his family are absolutely traumatized.
Yeah, and, like, I mean, honestly, they would deserve ridiculous amounts of compensation that they don't quite remember receiving for, like, everything up before that. So, like, after that, it's just, like, for emotional damages.
Yeah.
These people need to be set for life for, like, at least 6 generations after this shit. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. It's almost like there will be a legacy of trauma that needs to be undone somehow. Yeah, I wonder if in addition to, like, obliviation charms, like memory takeawaying, if you can, like, give a false memory, you know, to kind of, like, supplement, like, a gap that is left.
Well, doesn't Hermione in the 7th book convince her parents that, like, they're different people and send them off to Australia?
Or that she just doesn't exist?
I think she gave them different names.
I think you're right, actually.
Oh, yeah.
She, like, confounded the fuck out of them.
Yeah, I guess it would
be...
Is that
a confundus charm?
I guess it would be confounding, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets good at those in book 6 when she's confounding, what's his name? Roger Davies? Is that his name? So he doesn't make the...
it's the
No, Roger... It was, Cormac
McLagan.
Richard Davies is currently the head of the Ravenclaw Quidditch team. He's going to go to the...
Wow.
Roger. He's going to go to the Yule Ball with Fleur Delacour. I knew who he was.
Yeah. Okay. They I think they have sex in the bushes in this book.
It's definitely implied.
Yeah.
I think Roger and Fleur literally have sex. So the Weasleys have seats in the top box. As high as you can go, the best seats.
Yeah.
I don't know why I never wondered this on any previous readings, but I think Andrew's also the one who kind of helped me sort it out. Like, to fill half of what is obviously, like, the top VIP box, because the Minister of Magic's there, the Foreign Minister of Magic's there, like, a lot of... That's where they receive the award, the cup.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck would you give half of that box to, like, a wizarding family with a lot of children for kind of no reason? And Andrew said that it was maybe that they wanted to brag about Harry Potter. They're like, yo, this is our flex, this is Harry Potter.
I was actually gonna say that. Like, why did the Weasleys even have to arrange for the seats? Because, like, they want Harry there. They should just have complimentary seats for Harry and all his entourage.
The entourage is big.
It's true.
I mean, it kind of sounds like Arthur was going to get, like, a couple of tickets, and then, like, Ludo Bagman and others found out, like, oh, by the way, is it cool if I bring my son's friend Harry Potter? And they were like, yes, indeed, please have half of the box. Also, though, there should be more seats up there. That's not a lot of seats.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, not to be this way, but if there's too many people, then it's, like, not
the
VIP.
elitist experience, yeah.
You have to have, like, small... separate, like at a baseball game, you can have like a VIP like nook with your friends, and you don't have to talk to the Malfoys. That's what's up.
So, like, maybe there's other top boxes, and they're just like in the main one.
That's crazy. I would not put Harry Potter plus the Weasleys in the main top box. That's so bonkers.
Listen, the Weasleys are a full unit, and Harry Potter gets as many.
Yeah, they come as a pack.
Yeah, Harry Potter gets a +1 that he didn't even know about, and it's just the entire Weasley family, and Hermione's there too.
Yeah. If, like, we're really arguing, we should argue that Percy might have been exempt from this, invitation.
It is so funny that you say that, Nav, because I have the Jim K illustrated edition of this, and there's an illustration of the top box with every single character that's mentioned in this chapter is in that illustration. It's really cool.
Wow.
I'll post it on Instagram. But I straight up could not find Percy, like, at all. I had to post a picture of this in the Discord for as little as $1 a month. You can be a part of our Discord community. And I was like, does anyone see Percy? Like, where is Percy? And he is squished into a corner so small and, like, wrinkled up and, like, just...
Even the illustrator
so hard to
understood.
find. Oh, God, it's hilarious.
I was looking at that, and I was like, I've attempted drawing enough large group scenes, mistake if you're not that good at drawing, that I really can't tell if this was like a deliberate stylistic choice of like, and we'll put Percy here for humor reasons, or if the illustrator simply forgot and then had to squeeze him in.
Ran out of
That's
space,
what's up.
yeah.
It's like the John Mulaney bit where he's writing Happy Birthday.
I don't have to trace it.
It's like you're drawing
I know how many Weasleys there are.
They have to keep getting smaller and smaller because you're running out of space on the page.
Yeah.
It's funny that top seats are like not good seats for Muggle stuff, like concerts. Those are like the nosebleed seats,
Right,
you
but
know?
this is all up in the air, so
Yeah.
the higher you are.
I just like I would have such a bad time at this because I can't really see things that are happening in 3 dimensions, especially quickly, because my vision is so bad. Are both y'all are wearing glasses? Do either of you have
yes.
terrible vision?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Do you
yeah.
not see my eyes being like warped by how thick my glasses are?
Okay, I don't see your eyes being warped actively, but that's crazy. That's bonkers.
Yeah, I have terrible eyesight.
Same. Yeah.
So does Harry, for what it's worth.
I mean, yeah. Like I can't see, and I'm bad at keeping track of fast-paced things. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Same reason basketball is kind of hard for me. Where is it? I don't know. I really don't know. The stadium is bonkers. It's absolutely packed with people. I don't think I've ever arrived at anything like this before it started. You know what I mean? Maybe like a big theater performance, because that's rude.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the only thing that I can even compare this to.
Yeah, I'm not really much of a sports watcher, so...
Well, like, for example, I'm thinking of, like, some pretty big concert. Like, I went to see fucking Hillary Duff at the Patriot Center in at George Mason. But what I'm saying is that most stuff I go to see in my adulthood is a little more obscure than
Right.
Hillary Duff. But, like, that was a giant fucking concert in a stadium like this. Or even, I went to see Snoop Dogg here in Richmond, and it was, like, a giant stadium. I also vividly remember going to a basketball game at UVA because my brother went to UVA, and we used to go to basketball games, and it was terrible. And, like, sitting so high up that I, like, could not deal. You know, I like this, like... It just goes straight down. It's so steep in there.
Oh, you were like, Winky, she's afraid of the heights.
The stadium is absolutely packed with people. Everything has a faint golden light. There's like this magic blackboard that keeps writing ads across itself and then it like erases. That's like so vivid. I love that detail.
I'm a big fan of chalkboard like imagery in general, so this was great. I don't know what it is about, like, it's just so old school and I love it.
And I love like the at least in the Scholastic version, the text that was chosen for this, it's all loopy cursive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stands out.
Yep. I do like whenever the original Scholastic versions choose to use a font, it's always like really saying something, like a handwriting font or like a signage
it's
font.
like, it seems like it would be fun as a designer, like a book designer, and it also seems like it would have been fun to write a lot of these ads.
Yeah, come up with random
that's
ideas.
true.
Have you ever done like those like like Harry Potter quizzes, like on the Wizarding World website or something, they get so specific that I think there's like questions about these ads because they're
Yes.
just because everybody knows Harry Potter so well. They're like, what is the most obscure thing we can find?
We have a Harry Potter trivia board game that is only about the Sorcerer's Stone book, and it is about like every single detail that was ever in the Sorcerer's Stone.
That is a very small book for a whole board game to be based off of.
Yeah, I know. It's been like people get into these like the details.
Well,
Harry notices in the box, the top box, you know the one. There's a house elf, and Harry mistakenly calls her Dobby because that's the only house elf he's ever met. But it's okay because she knows Dobby. Who doesn't? This is Winky. Man.
yeah, she's really upset that Dobby's free.
Do y'all like Winky as a character, or like not really?
I think she's very problematic.
I mean, she's very problematic. The fact that she like exists is problematic, but that's kind of like the entirety of the house elves. Yeah. And she's kind of an annoying character, but I do kind of wish that like her whole storyline had been left in the film, because like I like the fourth movie, but it did cut out a lot of the intrigue, and a lot of the intrigue did center on Winky.
True.
Yep.
Yeah. There's like so many like clues about the greater mysteries in this like, you know, chapter that's supposed to be all about the game, and it's all fun, but
things are happening.
Yeah, things are for sure happening.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that Harry's wand gets stolen at some point in here.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's way too excited. The whole chapter, he's so excited.
He's just got his, what are they called? The
omni-oculars
or something.
Which I certainly would have called them omnoculars.
Yeah, but why make it easy on the readers, you know?
Hindsight's 20/20/20/20.
Yeah, but about Winky, I think it's like the author was trying to do something with like the house elf story, but just like ended up dropping it because it got too complicated, and that's what I don't like.
Yeah, that's that shit I don't like.
Yeah, because we never even find out, like, in the series what ultimately happened to Winky. Like, you just leave off with her traumatized and seeing her, like, the boy that she raised from infancy, basically, like, get his soul sucked out. And then I guess she just continues to be drunk in the kitchen until she dies. Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's like, don't, like... broach this topic if you're not going to deal with it properly.
That is, I have definitely made that note as an editor before, just like, this is not the platform to tackle this issue. You know, like, you don't have the space to address this the way it needs to be addressed. So we're just actually going to completely skip it. Mm-hmm. It's for the best.
Yeah.
Don't take on things that you're not ready to commit to. Yes. But anyway, it's not her fault. Here she is, Winky. Yeah. Winky doesn't think Harry did Dobby a favor, when he set him free, because Dobby apparently would like to be paid for his labor, which is very disgraceful to house elves.
A fucking socialist millennial thinking that his work is worth money. How dare he? Not that I'm salty.
Furthermore, Winky really hates heights, but she's up there anyway, saving a seat for her master.
Yeah. So, wait. Okay, also, that means, like, Barty Crouch technically had a seat, but, like, Winky's also sitting in a seat. So, are there just, like, some empty seats in the box?
Of 20? Yeah. No, that's an amazing point. Because I would have thought that she was saving, like, the seat she's sitting in, and as soon as Crouch turns up...
No, because there's a seat beside her that's...
Right, so he had 2 seats.
Or Crouch was like, yo, Ludo, I know you have a seat in the top box, but I know you're not going to sit down the whole fucking time. Can my house elf come? She helps me when I'm, she'll help me throughout the day or whatever.
I guess that's true.
And just super not make a big deal out of it.
But I don't know. Crouch doesn't seem like the person to like be like, hey, Ludo, person I hate, I'm gonna just ask you for a favor.
That's the thing, though, is they work together. That's, like, not a normal hatred dynamic.
But he still wouldn't ask Ludo for favors, I don't think.
The thing is, it's not even a favor. It's just like, Ludo, I know you're not going to use your seat and I need it. Thank you. It's like when I put my purse on the spare seat at a restaurant because it's like, this, my purse sits here. You must find a different seat.
But imagine having to like inform a person that you low-key abhor that you are going to be putting your purse in their seat. Now there's like social politics involved.
I guess I don't understand what it feels like to hate somebody.
Well, how nice for you.
If I hated someone, I would extra put my purse in there too.
I'll rephrase. Somebody that you find extremely annoying. And you have to tell them that you're going to put their bag there, and now they're going to think this is a thing.
Wait. What if Barty Crouch paid Ludo for his seat? And Ludo was just like, I need money, so I'll just stand the whole time.
I believe that, yeah.
You know? Like, asking a favor is, like, beneath him, but if he can pay him for his seat, then it's his seat.
No, that's the kind of fussy shit that I would see him doing. No, you're absolutely right. If that's what went down, then that's how it went down, yeah.
Oh my god. I just don't know if Ludo would, like, never admit to needing money.
Oh, no, I don't think Ludo has much of a sense of shame.
But he's making all these bets with all this bravado.
Yeah, and then he avoids everybody. He doesn't feel shame about it. He just ducks.
I guess you're right.
That's what irresponsible people are like.
What Hogwarts house is Ludo Bagman?
Probably a Gryffindor.
Yeah,
he could be a Puff, I think. Also,
like
a washed up, terrible, like jaded Puff.
Well, my first thought was Puff, and I was like, is it just because he's wearing yellow in the chapter?
No, that is not why I feel that way. It's the friendliness to me. I think that, like, deep down, his favorite thing is, like, just chumming it up with people. But I think that he has just had a really hard time. That's made him, honestly, not a Gryffindor, but more of a Slytherin. Just really resourceful and, like, self-interest, you know?
Right.
Ooh. Leprechaun gold. I can use this.
What about,
true.
What house do you think, Nav, for Ludo Bagman?
I thought Gryffindor just because of, like, his, like, outgoing personality.
Yeah. Like a lion.
Yeah. And he's, like, a jock, and, like, what's more like a jock than a Gryffindor?
It is jock house, for sure. What about Barty Crouch?
Oh, gosh.
Ravenclaw.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah. Like the Ravenclaw that all of the other Ravenclaws hate.
He's Percy. I've always said that Percy is not a fucking Gryffindor. He is a straight up Ravenclaw. He's obnoxious in the way that Ravenclaws are obnoxious.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, for sure. He's kind of like these are the rules. That's how you do it. Like,
yeah. Like, I don't think there's many. I was just going to say, I don't think there's many lawful people in Gryffindor, for example.
Yeah.
But also, like, Ravenclaw does have, like, its other side of that coin with the strong chaos energy. Like, you've got, I feel like
you don't have to be chaos energy.
You don't have to, but, like, you do have to deal with the fact that Luna Lovegood is in your house.
That's true. And at one point, probably, I don't know if we know that Ollivander is a Ravenclaw or if we just sorted him ourselves into Ravenclaw.
I think he is, like, confirmed as a Ravenclaw and, like, somewhere in the trivia information.
That sounds like something that I think we actually talked about in our Houses and Horoscopes bonus episode, maybe. Who knows? It's hard to find characters who aren't Gryffindors to talk about in those bonus episodes where we're sorting people. All right, where are we?
On the second page, or no, fourth page.
Yes.
We're doing great.
They're just, like, waiting for the games to start, and the box is filling, the stadium's filling. Ron's messing around with his Omni oculars. Mr. Weasley and Percy keep saying hi to ministry people. Percy bows so hard when the minister shows up that his glasses fall off his face and shatter. Okay, this is ridiculous. I have done this. Has anyone else just like nodded their glasses off their face?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And any funny stories?
No, because they never shattered.
Yeah.
That's my next note. Shatterproof lenses. Come on.
Also, like, usually when you have like a new pair of glasses that are actually fitted to your face, they don't fall off as easily. It's like over time as they like get loose, they do.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, Percy.
Also, like, is that even in their political protocol to bow to the Minister of Magic?
No. But wait, let me tell my glasses breaking story.
Oh, right.
By all means.
I was in a Coach store in the mall with my mom and my dad's best friend. And me and my mom were helping my dad's best friend pick out a Coach purse for his wife for her birthday. And I'm sure I was bored because that is not something that is for that activity is not for me. And I sneezed really hard. So it's like really posh in there. And I sneezed really hard and my glasses just slammed off my face at like 100 miles per hour. And they broke right down the middle like Harry fucking Potter.
No.
So because the lenses don't break. Everyone has shatterproof lenses these days. But the bridge of the nose broke. And I was like, oh shit, I guess, Mom, I need your credit card because my parents always buy me glasses because if I can't see, I can't do anything. And the lady at the Coach store gave me tape with the Coach logo on it, like tiny tape with the Coach logo to like wrap around the bridge of my glasses.
Why does Coach have branded tape?
Why would you need that?
I think it might be to like tape like tissue paper closed, like you wrap it up nicely.
Yeah,
fucking
Scotch
rich
tape.
people.
So that was my story. That's called juxtaposition.
Oof.
Oh, okay. That reminded me. I've definitely like been like looking down a garbage bin, and then like my glasses have fallen into said garbage bin.
Oh no.
Just because they were that loose at that point, but
Yeah.
I
struggle when I forget to wear contacts to yoga when I'm in Downward Dog. It's like I'm like upside down and my glasses are like floating into space. Anyway.
Yeah, so they're just like, oh, so that's what a house elf is. Those things are weird.
Yeah.
And it like bothered me that they call Winky a thing. Like,
they use it pronouns.
Yeah, don't do
It was upsetting. Yeah, don't do that. I try not to do that to like dogs, cats, babies. My friend's other friend recently had a baby, and it's Emily. Emily keeps referring to her best friend's baby as it, and she's like 8 months old now, and I'm like just use she, her. Like those are the pronouns for now. And Emily just can't do it.
It made me uncomfortable.
For sure. But it's also telling that Ron has never seen one before because they're like a rich people thing.
Yeah.
And speaking of rich people, the Malfoy family shows up, of course.
Ugh.
And Lucius, every time I write Lucius, I spell it Luscious. By accident. Like I really don't know which is which. Lucius makes a shitty comment about how the Weasleys could not even have sold their house to have bought these tickets because their house isn't worth enough. And Fudge is there. Fudge is like, oh my god, you guys probably know each other. And he's not even listening, which is so bananas to me because he's definitely not doing anything other than engaging in this conversation. You know what I mean?
He's a spacey dude. He's a very I do not see it kind of person. He really only, perceives what he wants to. Yeah, this is a piece of foreshadowing, really, to his reaction to later events.
I thought you were going to say he's a piece of shit, actually.
I mean, as a politician, yeah, I feel like as a dude, if he wasn't in a position of power, he'd be pretty benign. But
Fudge is the worst.
Unfortunately.
Fudge is so lame that HarryPotter.fandom.com doesn't even know what house he's in. We don't even know what house he's in. It's like, it's not even worth developing this character. Everyone has like a house and like a birthday and a backstory on those obscure, like those comprehensive websites. So
Yeah.
finally, Ludo Bagman arrives in the box to get the game started. He performs Sonorous on himself to amplify his voice across the stadium, which is a cool spell. And he welcomes everyone to the game.
And the opposite of the spell is just like Quietus.
I know,
You
that one's
couldn't
so
have thought
stupid.
of like something a little more,
Any
anything.
other etymological reference for
Yeah.
quiet. Anything.
When I was younger reading these, I was like 8, right? So I only got into linguistics when I was like 18. So my dad, when I was a kid, used to make a lot of fun of all of the spell names in these series, and I would get really defensive because he's ridiculous. But as an adult, I way more understand. I'm like, these, like every spell is really like etymologically transparent. Like it's not quite as creative as it sounds. She's like really good at, that bitch is really good at like the sound of things. Like,
That's why there's so much random capitalization of just like, this thing is important
oh my God, I
throughout
hate
the
it.
book. Just draw attention to it.
My dad, during the movies, when Harry's falling off his broom and Dumbledore goes, Arresto Momentum, right? And it like goes black. My dad would always get up and he like would do this like football stance, sticking his butt out like an asshole. And he would say, Stoppa the Falla.
Your dad
That's
sounds
such a
like an
dad
interesting
move.
guy.
Yeah, it's dad stuff. Imagine me, but more dad. It's a nightmare. No, I know. It's not good.
More
Just
dad.
kidding. I love my dad.
I'm picturing a cross between you and Andrew, personality-wise.
You've met my dad.
Briefly.
A cross between me and Andrew personality-wise is exactly right.
All right.
So the mascots come out. We start with the Bulgarian national team mascots. Vila, a.k.a. Beautiful Seductive Women.
Yeah.
I forgot to like look into like, because I'm sure every other like creature being that we meet in the magical world is like from some mythological whatever. So like I forgot to look up where these come from.
Yeah, well, they have kind of like the, sirens and that
Yeah,
kind
there's
of
definitely
vibes.
a harpy element.
I can't listen. I have this book that's been with arm's reach of me every single episode of this podcast I've ever recorded, and it's an anthology of like fairy creatures, mythical creatures.
Mhm.
I literally haven't opened this book in like 15 years, and I just grabbed it, and there's a page on Vila,
Really?
and
Whoa.
I'm going to it. This is actually a really cute little book. But it actually doesn't have page numbers, so why the fuck would you have an appendix? Wait a fucking second.
Hopefully it's at least alphabetical.
This is in the section called Angelic Fairies. They're called Bethind, a special fairy in Celtic tradition. I didn't do any research about how to pronounce any single one of these things. Oh my god. I'm mad because literally it's like she's one of the Vila, a tribe of beautiful nymph-like fairies made famous in the Harry Potter stories. Fucking A.
The data pool's been tainted.
So this book really focuses on them as more of like beautiful good instead of beautiful evil if we're looking at the beautiful moral alignment chart.
What are the rules for the Vila? Like, is it like anybody who's attracted to women is
I
like...
was wondering that on
you
this
know,
read.
like-
I was
'Cause-
also wondering that because our friend Adele, I think, would probably fall victim to the Vila.
Yeah, and
Shout
like,
out to Adele.
Here's the thing. I was kind of paying attention because I realized that Ludo Bagman does not seem to have any kind of reaction. We don't see anyone else in the top box really having a reaction besides the boys, but like the young Weasley and Weasley adjacent boys. But Ludo Bagman, at no point, I don't think, is it mentioned that he's wearing earplugs or anything like that. So, new headcanon, Ludo Bagman is fully gay. Continue.
Oh, I will allow Ludo Bagman is fully gay for sure.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like, I don't think we see anyone acting silly other than Ron and Harry specifically. Like, I don't...
Yeah, like, is it a teenage boy kind of thing?
Imagine that you get turned on for the first time in your life, you know? Like,
Also, like, Mr. Weasley, he, like, is aware of what, like effect they have, and
Yes.
he isn't. Is it because he's like married and like
I think-
taken?
Married and Taken does not protect you from the Vila. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But I think it's just because he knows, and the weird thing is that it's like he knows enough to just sit there and be turned on without acting on it. You know,
Right.
like that's what it really is.
Well, I think he does plug his ears when they start dancing like the second time, and like
well, maybe
instructs
he's just
the
not
boys.
strong enough.
He instructs the boys to also do so, but he doesn't on that first time, and I think that's a key character moment for Arthur Weasley, because he's just like, all right, if you haven't had your sexual awakening yet, you're about to. All right. This is their Jessica Rabbit.
Oh my god, I love that a lot. But yeah, the rules of the Vila are very interesting to me. Also, just like later when they start dancing as like a weapon, it's like who
Yeah.
permitted this? So yeah, they're dancing. They sort of like hypnotize people. Harry wants to impress them, so he's thinking of jumping from the box into the stadium.
Yeah,
That's
great
what he
idea.
thinks.
Wait, also, like, the referee ends up having a problem later, too.
Wait,
so,
wait.
like...
No, let's get there when we... I want to give him his moment, because that's
Okay.
fucking hilarious. The music stops and Hermione is like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Because Harry literally has one foot over the ledge. Like, what if
You're
Harry had
ready to
just
dive,
straight
yeah.
up... What if Harry Potter straight up died at the Quidditch World Cup? Because he flung himself off of a box at the top box.
Arrest him, and he's already hit the ground.
Like, you just can't be bringing Vila like that.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They're very entertaining though. It was the whole like, okay, we all know the movies suck, but this was like a major disappointment.
Yeah.
This is such a spectacle and we got none of it.
Yeah, it is a straight up spectacle.
Like, we don't get any of the stuff about Fleur later on, so it looks like Ron's just a fucking idiot who
Yes,
asked her out
right.
because he's an idiot.
I just can't talk about Ron. Every time we talk about how the movies make Ron look like an idiot, I'm going to link that video that Brooke recommended in the Discord. For as little as $1 a month, you too can receive videos from Brooke. Not that kind of videos. So the next team, the Irish team national mascots, the Irish national team mascots come out. It, quote, what seemed to be a great green and gold comet came zooming into the stadium. They look stupid now after the sexy Vila. They're just ridiculous.
Well, until they pull out that gold.
Right. They do start throwing gold at people, which, ouch.
Yeah,
Also
it was
my
like
face.
it like Harry's like specifically, oh, heavy gold coins rained from them. And I'm like, that's not safe.
And now I'm thinking, like, you know, Arthur didn't warn them about the sexy Vila dance, and he didn't warn any of his kids, like, hey, by the way, that gold's fake.
See,
Like,
that's mean
He's
to
just
not warn them
fucking-
about gold.
He's just fucking with them. Why would you not tell them?
Molly's not here, dude.
Maybe
He's unsupervised.
But also, like, why would they be throwing real gold?
I don't
Because
know. It's
it's
the
the
Quidditch
Qu-
World Cup.
Exactly. There's opulence in the air. Literally. Coming at you
guess.
quickly.
I'm sitting on a velvet cushion with the 1%. Surely someone should be throwing gold at me.
Oh, and also, wait, can we talk about the programs that are like velvet and have like...
Are they velvet?
Yeah,
Everything's
there's
velvet.
Hold on.
Everything is velvet.
Give me a sec.
Why is it so fucking ridiculous?
Christina, what are wizards all about?
The drama.
Hermione was skimming eagerly through her velvet-covered tasseled program.
Shut
It's
the fuck
got a
up.
tassel.
I did not even notice that when I was reading.
It
All
like
right, and
really
it-
struck.
And like, just to make sure we're all on the same page here, we all just saw like a gold thread tassel in our heads, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
of course.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm picturing if you took the Crown Royal satchel and made it into a program, same color palette, same kind of. It would have the exact same script too. Don't lie to me.
That makes sense.
No, that's exactly the color scheme I was thinking.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna Photoshop that.
Yeah, but it's like so over the top. Or so
Yes.
like, is that the program for the top box, or like does everybody get one?
I think that's the program for the top box.
I think it's for everybody because wizards are so bananas.
Right. They do use gold for money, which is so impractical.
Yeah. Yeah, who would use paper? Weirdos.
Or like credit.
Money is becoming so arbitrary.
For sure.
It's just numbers. Like, nobody uses cash anymore. It's like, here's
I know.
a few numbers I have. I'm going to give those to you. You give me numbers.
Whoa. I do get mad when people are like, cash only at the farmer's market. I'm like, come on. You know I don't have cash. Why are you doing
Yeah.
this? I just want a cantaloupe.
Yeah, just get one of those little square thingies. That's what they're for.
That's my plug for this week. So easy to use. Even Haley learned how to run Square.
I did.
Okay, so Ludo Bagman introduces the Bulgarian team player by player as they fly onto the pitch. We finally get a look at Victor Krum. I started to do an accent and then I was like, I can't do anything like a Bulgarian accent, so I went into my Valley Girl Krum, which is always my fallback. So, Victor Krum, hot or not?
Not.
He's not
described like a bird of prey, overgrown bird of prey.
I don't know. There's a certain appeal. There's a certain appeal to it's a good strong nose, I would say. I don't think that Victor Krum is objectively good looking, but I do think that he has big dick energy.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the Victor Krum in the book and the Victor Krum in the film are different. They're described very differently, even in the way that they like carry themselves. Victor Krum in the film is objectively very, very sexy. The actor probably also was in his like mid-20s at the time, so I feel okay saying this. That was a grown-ass man.
Oh, yeah. That was a man and a half.
A man and a half. But I would like to have that's the thing is it's like movies, it's like, okay, imagine if it was this story, but everyone was super hot. But sometimes that really changes a character. Like Hermione or like Victor Krum, if you make them hot, it's different.
Yeah. No, because I think it would be so much cuter if they were, like, actually as, like, weird and awkward looking in the movies as they are in the books, because then it's like, oh, awkward kid love, look at you two.
If either one of them was half as awkward as I was when I was 14, it would be so much better.
Oh, good lord.
Then the Irish team comes out and Bagman introduces them as well. And then we are introduced to the referee who has come from Egypt. His name is, somebody read it to me. I didn't write it down.
Hassan Mustafa.
Thank you so much. He's one of my favorite characters in this chapter.
He has his moments.
The way they describe him, and then there's a wonderful illustration of him in the
I need you to hold that up and show me.
Okay, I'll show you.
I love, like, he's kind of described, like, a little bit like a cartoon character, just the way that, like, his mustache is so luxurious and he's got, like, a whistle poking out from under it.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's wearing, hold on, I have to, I always cover my camera because it's distracting to me, I swear to God.
Oh,
damn.
My God.
Them shoes.
Shoes, yeah, I was just gonna say.
You don't have to wear practical shoes if you're flying.
I guess, or pants, apparently.
He's wearing like fucking, yeah, like...
He's wearing biking shorts! He's wearing biking shorts on a broom under robes.
They're called, are they called chubbies?
I don't know.
I think those kind of shorts are called, hold on, I'm gonna carefully Google chubbies.
He looks like an elderly professor who's, like, kept very healthy in his old age and, like, runs marathons.
He's, like, awkwardly healthy.
Yeah. Like, you're stringy.
They are called chubbies. The shorts that show all of a man's, like, thigh meat. It's so much hotter. Don't obscure your knee, gentlemen. That's not cute.
That's a horrible name for any garment.
It's kind of hot because you get to see the little chubby part of their thigh. I love soccer boys.
It's just a bad name for the garment.
Yeah.
You can use it to hide your chubbies. Anyway, the game begins. My first note of this is they play the game.
Yep. They sure are playing Quidditch, huh?
Catch, score.
When I was on, I I think the Hedge Knight episode of A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium, we were joking because there's a lot of parts in that story where it's like, and then they fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're not going to describe it to you. Like, they're just playing Quidditch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry fucks up with his omnioculars.
Yeah.
He does the slow motion and then forgets to undo it, and he starts missing stuff.
Yeah.
I do kind of like that this happens, though, because it's like, one, it keeps us from having to actually, like, focus on the game too much, and two, it's like, oh, Harry, you're such a fucking nerd, because, like, this is the first time that he's getting to, like, study watching Quidditch in, like, slow motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the omnioculars are for, like, later study. Like, enjoy the game live for now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, don't worry about taking too many pictures on your phone. You got to enjoy what you're doing now. It's, like, the same kind of vibe.
Be in the moment, man.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is, like, being recorded in whatever version of recording they have.
I don't know. Wizards don't really go in for convenience. So, like,
but,
this
like,
might be his only chance.
He can, like, replay the scenes in his omnioculars. So maybe there's, like, a bigger
just
version.
film the whole thing.
Yeah, so, like,
Yeah.
how long would that stick, do you think? Like, does like,
don't know.
the magic wear off of these things? Or,
I mean, they
We
were
never
very
see them
expensive.
again.
Weren't they, like, 10 galleons or something?
Yes, they were 10 galleons
Like,
apiece. Jesus.
why are they so expensive?
because they've got a lot of functions. They're like an iPhone.
Yeah, they do, like,
Yeah.
like, he can see whatever, like, play they're doing, and it, like, names the things, and it's kind of cool.
Honestly,
I'm
Hermione
learning so
does
much.
it. I was gonna say Hermione doesn't really need the omnioculars, but I think for that specific purpose, like, it's really good for Harry. So, because that's the thing, is it's like, we never really get anything about his Quidditch education outside of poor Oliver's, like, frantic plan. What do they call plays?
Yeah, he'll just
Yeah.
do, like, chalkboard scribbles.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's cool that Harry's, just learned something. This is also the chapter where I learned what the word feint, F-E-I-N-T. I remember that I learned what that meant when I read this the first time.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
Ireland scores 3 times. Cool.
Yay.
30 points to 0. Then Bulgaria scores. And the boys have to plug their ears as the Vila start dancing again.
Keep it in your pants, boys.
Yeah, the 2 Seekers go after the snitch really fast, like they're dive bombing for it, and they almost crash. But then Crumb pulls out of it, and it was a feint. F-E-I-N-T. And the other Seeker only like thought that the snitch was there, but Crumb was just playing. What's the other Seeker's name?
Lynch.
Lynch. Love it. And at this time, the referee gets hypnotized by the Vila, and he starts flexing.
Yeah.
Twirling
and,
that
like,
big
twirling his
mustache.
mustache. Yeah.
Look at my luxurious mustache, ladies. Anyone want a mustache ride?
Grab onto my handlebars.
That sounds terrible.
Come fly away with me, baby. The thing is, like, what happens? Like, what happens when he, like, walks all the way into the crowd of Vila and is like, okay, time to make out with you because you have seduced me? Like, do they murder him in the middle of the Quidditch World Cup? Like, what happens?
Well, apparently they sometimes just bang a dude because that's how Fleur happened.
Yeah.
Or I guess Fleur's mom.
Even Vilas can fall in love, okay.
Yeah, and in this, like, here their purpose is to, like, you know, get him on the Bulgarian team's side so he'll be nicer to them.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, it's like, oh, make sure we win this game and then we'll talk.
Maybe that's why he's like, he in particular is reacting so hard. Like they're directing it at him somehow. That's a good thought. Because like it does seem very random otherwise.
That's true. Or I always heard it as he's just, like, pretty susceptible, maybe, like, not that into the game.
Just a horny old man.
A horny old man. Like, I just love him. I like to think he just wants to get down. A medic goes out to kick him in the shins. That would be my job at the Quidditch World Cup. Shin kicker. It's funny. It's so funny that a medic does it. Like, this needs a medical professional.
Yeah.
And then the referee is embarrassed and he tries to like oust the Vila entirely. And then the Bulgarian beaters land to argue with him. Or is it the Irish beaters, actually?
The
No, I think
Bulgarian.
it's the Bulgarians.
It's the Bulgarians.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Bulgarian beaters are arguing with him about it. The Vila. Are the players not affected by the Vila?
That's the thing. I don't know. I'm just loving the fact that, like, while all of this is going on, the leprechauns are also writing out ha ha ha, and then he in the sky.
Yeah.
Eventually, they flip everyone off.
Yep.
Yes, they
Which
do.
is amazing. I love these books because they've done this before where like Ron said something like very nasty about McGonagall, like stuff like that. Like they're like the leprechauns made a very rude hand gesture.
Yeah,
very
it's
rude
not
gesture
specific.
indeed.
Leave
you
it up to
know,
your
you know.
imagination. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so the tension is escalating. There's a lot of fouls. The Vila start turning. They become scaly.
Adele would still fuck them. Shout out to Adele. Quite frankly, I agree.
It reminds me of, I watched The Shining for the first time ever in my life, like a couple days ago, and there is a scene where he's making out with a hot ghost, and then she turns into an old scary ghost.
I thought you were about to say that she turns into like a bird person, and I was like, I don't remember that from the show. It has been a challenging mating season for bird person.
The Vila and the leprechauns are having to be like separated by ministry officials. Oh, here's something funny about this chapter. When you go to a sporting event or a concert, are the people who are checking your tickets and telling you where your seats are and separating the mascots from fighting, are they governmental officials or are they underpaid college students?
Well, I think in this case, it's more like the Olympics, as in like a country is hosting it. So like their department of like tourism or whoever is responsible.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like the ministry official like took their tickets, you know? It's like, why can't she just enjoy the game and get a kid to do it?
I think that's their only staff power. I don't think they even
Yeah.
have that many like college kids. I think the ministry officials might be their equivalent.
Yeah, because like
college
what
kids.
comes after Hogwarts? It's you go and work for the ministry.
Yeah, they don't really have like these are interns. These are entry level employees, shall we
Yeah.
say?
Interesting.
Percy
Okay.
should have been in one of them.
Yeah.
So
He should've.
it says ministry official, but it's not like the head of whatever. It's,
just somebody who works for the ministry.
Or like, what's his name? Like, Perkins? Is that Arthur's like
yeah.
office mate? No,
Yeah.
he can't stand that long. He has lumbago, whatever that is. Wait, what is that?
I want to say it's something to do with your spine. Like it sounds like lumbar.
It literally just means back pain.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Back pain isn't funny, but it's funny that I thought it was a thing and it's not. It's just like, ouch, my back. Eventually, Victor Crumb's nose gets broken by a bludger. The Irish seeker goes for the snitch. Victor Crumb follows, definitely bloodied. There's like blood in the air.
Yeah.
I hate it. And then Victor Crumb catches the snitch. Only it's not that exciting because he still loses.
Yeah.
I never caught this line before, sorry, just because they're watching them both shooting for the ground, and Hermione's like, they're gonna crash. No, they're not, says Ron, and the Lynch is, says Harry, and then Lynch crashes into the ground for the second time with tremendous force and was immediately stampeded by a horde of angry Vila. Is he okay?
He's not. That's the thing is, okay, when they bring him around in a couple of minutes, he is like concussed, but also seduced. Like he's enchanted in a way that is like confused and like not okay, but not okay.
I never caught the moment where he is then promptly stampeded by angry sex fairies.
Is it? Is it like an angry stampede or a sexy stampede? We'll never know.
Little column A, little column B.
It actually says angry Vila. So
But it could...
There's angry
Vila
sexy.
on a sexy stampede. Yes, Ireland wins 170 to 160. Everyone is caught off guard by the very sudden end to the match. This used to make sense to me. Harry's like, well, I know Quidditch and I know exactly how his brain's working. He wanted to end it on his terms. He was never going to win.
Well, I always kind of assumed that if he didn't catch it here, that Lynch would have, and then like they wouldn't have even gotten those points. But like that's just me like explaining it away.
It's just that if I was in Crumb's position, I would not have done this. Like, I would have, at all costs, including fouls, made certain that Lynch did not catch the snitch. But I probably would not have caught it either. You know, feint in the other direction
then it just keeps going. Like, that's the fundamental flaw of Quidditch, is until you catch the snitch, the game can just go on for months.
Were talking about, like, it might go on for 5 days. That's what happened last time.
I totally agree with that, but I would wait. I'm looking at the scores are numerically right in front of my face. Ireland wins 170 to 160. So I don't feel like I would have known so certainly that we could never have gotten two more goals, you know? Yeah. Like, I would have made this call a couple hours down the road when everyone's getting bored and, like, saved everybody. You know, I wouldn't be like, and we're done, 20 minutes, fuck you guys. And I honestly don't think the crowd would have taken well to this at all.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. What Christina really wants out of this chapter is more Quidditch.
Okay, I'm going to go back to our introduction where I said, you cannot make us pretend to care about sports.
And they didn't have to.
I gave all my energy. That was all my sports energy, and I'm spent.
I just don't think that Crumb is that competitive of a person. I think he's extremely talented at this game, but it sounds like he's kind of like, just the impression I get is that he's kind of jaded with, like, professional Quidditch. He's like, I just want to play this for fun. Because later on in the Triwizard Tournament, he's not all that competitive either. He's just like, well, I guess I'm here. He's
just good at it. It kind of reminds me of my younger brother, Michael. Like, very, physically intelligent, but not very competitive at all. Total Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Hermione says, he was very brave, wasn't he? Why does she even say that? Why? That seems so weird in this context.
Big dick energy flying through the sky, blood streaming behind him. That's kind of sexy. Like, if I was a 14-year-old girl, I would be like, all right, well, I guess there was something at this game for me after all.
Oh, Hermione. She does so much that we just, we don't get to see nearly enough Hermione. She's becoming a woman right before our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The Bulgarian Minister of Magic says in perfectly comprehensible English, he has been pretending to not understand English this whole time. He says, well, we fought bravely. I'm bad at accents, and he's literally just been watching Fudge struggle this whole time because it amused him. That's fucking hilarious.
I love this.
He's the best. That's the best prank.
Watching Fudge, of all people, try to do the charades, like... Yeah. Who wouldn't?
I've been, like, stacking up on the languages I know. I'm on, like, number 5. And the reason... one of the major, like, reasons is one day I hope to catch somebody in a conversation about me and just, like, turn to them in their language and be like, oh, yes, I totally heard that. So far, that has not happened.
One day, though.
If I get enough languages, it's ought to.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. We're Americans, so that sounds like so many languages.
Yeah, well, I was born in India, so I speak a couple languages from there because...
Which ones?
Punjabi and Hindi.
Okay, what else do you got?
English, and then everybody in Canada has to learn French in school, and I actually liked it, so I continued.
Nice.
And Spanish.
Oh my gosh, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And yet all of them make perfect sense for you.
I think my favorite language that I've, like, actively learned is Spanish. It's just...
Spanish is also my favorite language that I've actively learned. It's also the only language that I've really learned. But Spanish is a beautiful language.
Yeah.
Why do we think he did this?
Because it's Fudge. Fuck him.
Yeah. It's exactly. Why else?
It was very funny.
I mean, like this dude, if anyone else was if Arthur Weasley was Minister of Magic, you would not do this to him. He would be so earnestly trying to find a way to communicate with you in your own language, however he could, that, like, you wouldn't want to fuck with him this way. Fudge.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. This British politician stereotype. I will spend an entire week, I'll spend an entire month pretending not to understand you.
And it's extra funny because Crouch isn't here, and Barty Crouch is the one who speaks the languages. This whole time, Fudge is, like, trying to find... He, like, keeps mentioning it, like, if only Barty Crouch were here. But it's funny because Barty Crouch was never going to be here. Like, he is, like, by design somewhere else. Where do you think he physically is right now?
Probably working.
Where, you mean, like, walking around?
In a tent, working.
On a laptop?
On papers. I don't know, papers. What did people do before laptops?
He's reviewing Percy's thing about cauldron bottom sizes.
Oh, God.
I hope not. But he does, like, show up promptly in the following chapter. So he's, like, around.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Just love it so much. So the Quidditch World Cup gets presented in the top box where they all are. The cup is brilliantly lit. It lights up the whole box.
Mm-hmm.
The players all come in to accept their cup. What's his name? Lynch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, he's concussed. He's just straight up concussed. Like, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, slightly, he's too concussed to get fully seduced. So he's, like, mostly concussed, but with just, like, a sprinkling of seduction.
Just sleepy and a little horny. Who among us hasn't been there?
Relatable. I'm laughing because it's so true. Marriage is wonderful. The chapter ends with Ludo Bagman doing his little quietus, and then his voice is all hoarse. And the twins come over for their winnings. That'll probably never come up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems irrelevant. Weird that they ended the chapter on that anyway.
Do you think that Crumb caught the thing? Like, that was just so that the twins could win this bet?
I mean...
Whoa. Whoa. A conspiracy!
Not that, like, Crumb himself, but, like, the J.K. Rowling, like, did that whole thing just for this to be a thing.
Oh, yeah,
so that
for
later
sure.
on.
I thought you were saying, like, in terms of, like, there's a conspiracy, like, somehow Fred and George have contact.
Because the thing is, like, their bet is very specific. Like, Arlen wins, but Crumb catches. Like, nobody else would bet on that. So...
And narratively, I think it makes it so much more satisfying later when Harry gifts his Triwizard winnings to the twins. It makes it more satisfying the fact that they've been deprived of money.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like they really feel like they deserve it by the end of this book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that must have been kind of added in halfway through and then just, like, woven through the rest of the story.
Also, probably, I mean, I don't know how far ahead that bitch planned these books, but, like, especially since they have their dramatic exit next year, they have to be, like, doing something this year so that you're thinking about them, you know?
Right. I mean, I feel like it would have just come from, like, oh, yeah, I guess there would be, like, a cash prize or something.
Wait,
so, like...
Christina, I want to be on for that episode.
Which one?
When they make their dramatic exit.
No, chapter 8. That's not chapter 8.
I could come on more than once.
It is a long book.
Oh my god, it's so long.
That's my favorite chapter in all the books.
That is an excellent chapter. So, does anyone have anything else about this chapter that we didn't touch on yet that you would like to, or didn't touch on enough, or just deserves more touching?
One line that's always stuck with me was when Ron was testing out the Omnioculars before it started, and he's like, I can make that bloke down there pick his nose again and again and again.
That would have been a hilarious line in the film. Just a low-key little nod to the text. Rupert Grint would have delivered it perfectly.
And there's also the moment when he returns, like, he pays Harry back for the Omnioculars, and then that's gonna come back and add
very awkward.
be a sore point in their friendship.
It just sucks because, like, Ron is obviously sensitive. He obviously has nothing to worry about because Harry's rich. But, like, Harry just doesn't handle any of that very well. He's like, shut up, don't worry. And Ron's like, I've been worrying about this for my entire life, okay? Like, I'm gonna worry.
Yeah.
They just need to learn to communicate.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, are y'all ready to move on to plugs?
Sure.
Yeah.
Nav, will you please remind us about your podcast and tell us where else we can find you on the internet, if anywhere? No pressure.
Sure. Okay, so y'all can listen to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium anywhere where you listen to podcasts. If you want to, listen to two people rambling on about the series and listen to one person not have a clue, it's very entertaining, I would say.
May I recommend starting with Goblet of... I've read Goblet of Fire again. May I recommend starting with Game of Thrones, Chapter 16? Might have had a special guest.
Yeah, it was after that episode. I got COVID very soon after recording that episode last year. Yeah. And I was like out of commission for a while. And in the time, I was just like, because like there was nothing to do. I was stuck in my room, right? So all I did was obsess about A Song of Ice and Fire. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is coming up. This is coming up. And I got really excited and impatient. And then when we got back to it, we started recording several chapters at a time because I was so impatient. So yeah, actually the 16th chapter is a great place to start because then we get into a better flow after that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if you, the only place I post because I'm terrible at social media is Instagram. You can follow that at Pop Culture Symposium, but that's pretty much it.
All right. What have you been watching, reading, listening to, playing, thinking about lately that you think that the listeners of our podcast might enjoy?
Before we started recording, I was talking about this fantasy series I've been reading called The Elder Empire, and it consists of 6 books, and 3 of them are written from the point of view of one character and 3 from the other, but they are the same timeline. So it's a very interesting concept, and there's some cool fantasy ideas. So check that out. It's The Elder Empire by Will Wright.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much. Haley, where can people find you on the internet?
Hello, I have been Haley. If you must, you can find me on Twitter at TheWritToWit, and also most weeks on our other podcast, The Movie Night Crew, where it's just our dumb friends watching dumb movies. Sometimes they're not dumb movies, but they become dumb as soon as we've seen them, and then just talking about them afterwards. It's a lot more freeform than this, and a lot more explicit. Just so's you know.
Yeah, she means there's screaming. It's lots of screaming.
It's a lot of screaming and a lot of fucked up jokes that sometimes go too far, but that's our charm. And recently I started reading something called the Darwath series, which is I might be pronouncing that wrong. I do not know. It's from like the 80s.
Is there an I in there somewhere?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I want there to be, but there isn't.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep. If you've ever seen this particular image that floats around on the internet of like an old-timey wizard with a staff and an amulet and
I know exactly
robe
which one you're talking about, weirdly.
Sitting at a kitchen table, like a Formica kitchen table, holding an open beer.
Surely you told me about this.
I did. That image floats around the internet sometimes.
Linked in the show notes.
That is the cover of the first book, and that is how the main character is introduced to the wizard in the series.
This cover is so good. I completely forgot about it. Like a wizard gangster. Like, this is what Gandalf was always trying to do.
Oh my gosh, I see it.
Yeah, right?
What a G, honestly.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd seen that in like some people whose blogs I follow who like I respect in terms of what stories they enjoy were like, here's basically what it's about, here's what the characters are, here's kind of the shit that goes down. I was like, oh, that all sounds up my alley. Okay. So I've started getting into that, and I am enjoying myself. I maybe would have made different editing choices, but what don't I say that about?
I was just about to say, Haley, have you ever not felt that way about a book that you would have made different editing choices?
Nope.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that recommendation, Haley.
Anytime.
I feel like I'm using like weirdly sarcastic voice today, but I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Just using this scathing voice.
I guess it's fine, Christina. Fucking whatever.
Yeah, okay, I'll just do my plugs.
On my podcast.
I have been your host, Christina. You can follow me on Instagram at Christina the Con. You can follow me on Twitter at Christina Con. You can follow me on TikTok at Sprouts Private Stash. And this week I'm going to recommend both. It's a book and a movie. It's a movie based on a book, The House with a Clock in Its Walls by... I never, ever remember to look up the author ahead of time. Oh my god. I have to type in fucking book because they made a movie about it. The author of this is John Bellairs. It's also one of those like middle grade novels that has some illustrations, the occasional black and white illustration, and it was illustrated by Edward Gorey. It was actually originally published in the 70s, so it carries that tone of very classic children's fantasy. All of the fantasy and even like kind of like mystery as well that I read when I was a kid carried the same tone before the real fantasy resurgence of like the Harry Potter movement in like the late 90s, early 2000s. But it's just a really lovely novel about this kid who is orphaned and he goes to live with his uncle who is a delightful warlock whose house is cursed.
As it be.
Yeah, and my favorite thing about this story is that the warlock is like an old bachelor and he is very best friends with his elderly neighbor witch. They're just best friends and they are like constantly insulting and digging at each other. In the movie, the uncle's played by Jack Black and the neighbor's played by Cate Blanchett. So just imagine that dynamic. It's hard to imagine, but it really works. So it's just a really delightful story that kind of makes me remember what it felt like to be kind of discovering these kinds of fantastical stories when I was a child. So The House with a Clock in Its Walls by John Bellairs, or just watch the movie because it's freaking great. So that's that.
Yay.
Haley, my co-pilot as always, thank you so much. And Nav, thank you for being here. We always love to have you on the show.
I love being here. It was so fun to talk to you folks.
Hell yeah.
We had so much fun with you.
Yeah, and we will see you back for Chapter 8 and or others for Order of the Phoenix.
Yes.
I really want to jam-pack Order of the Phoenix with, like, beloved, cheerful, friendly guests because, like, the whole book really stresses me and depresses me out.
True.
Can I make a proposal right now?
What?
I don't know if we're still, like, this is still part of the episode, but, you know Wizard Angst? The Potter Puppet Pals.
Yes.
Just like anytime Harry starts getting too angsty in Order of the Phoenix, just insert that soundbite.
Angst, 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 angst.
Also, oh fuck, I forgot to plug the Patreon. It's too late to do it organically.
Well,
all right, gang, I gotta go finish reading The Prime Minister and the Vila before this book starts coming on to me. Bye.
bye.
Nav, say bye.
Oh, bye.
The Restricted section is honored to be a member of the Movie Night Crew podcast network, which features other excellent podcasts such as Of the Eldest Gods. Two friends question if Rick Riordan is truly their godly parent while rereading the books that changed their childhoods. From the Greeks to the Romans to the Egyptians to the Norse, Of the Eldest Gods lets them take their adult imaginations on a ride across the Percy Jackson series and beyond.
Listen, we didn't want to be half-bloods.
If you're listening to this because you think you might be one, our advice? Stop listening to this podcast right now.
Percy Jackson had the right idea when he told people to stop reading the books detailing his adventures as a half-blood.
But we didn't listen to his warnings.
And that's why we started this podcast, Of the Eldest Gods, where we read books written by Rick Riordan and talk about how they affected us as kids and continue to as semi-adults. You can find us every Thursday wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you think we fooled them for a second there?
God, I hope not.
Bring on the monsters. We're making a podcast!
The restricted section was created by me, Christina Kahn, based on the book series by J.K. Rowling. All music by Ryan Kahn. Logo by Michael Hardison. Support us on patreon.com/restricted section. For as little as $1 a month, you can gain access to our Discord community server, which is a really happy place to be. And there are other rewards as well, such as bonus episodes and Zoom happy hour hangouts. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Restricted Section Pod, on Twitter at Restricted Pod, and on Facebook at Restricted Section Pod. Also, feel free to shoot us an email at restrictedsectionpod@gmail.com to share your thoughts, feelings, complaints, conspiracy theories, or even lavish praise. The Blue Bottle, a broom for all the family. Safe, reliable, and with built-in anti-burglar buzzer. Mrs. Scour's all-purpose magical mess remover. No pain, no stain. Glad Rags Wizard Wear. London, Paris, Hogsmeade.
That movie sucked.
I kind of liked it.
Movie Night Crew Network.